Picture yourself standing in the middle of a desert. The sun presses down like a weight, the air is bone dry, and not a drop of water is in sight. Now imagine that same spot again. Lush green fields, rows of tomatoes, solar towers gleaming in the distance, and even fish ponds. Sounds like fiction? It did to most people, but not in Israel. This isn't just a story about surviving the desert. It's about reshaping it. What Israel has done to the Negev Desert isn't just remarkable, it's a global case study in turning scarcity into strength. And in a world heading into climate uncertainty, this might be the most important story you haven't heard. But here's the real twist. It all started with a water crisis so severe that most experts said it would fail. The Negev Desert covers more than half of Israel's land. That's over 5,000 square miles of sun-scorched, rocky terrain. And remember, Israel is about the size of New Jersey. So for such a tiny country, this desert takes up a massive chunk of its space. In the Negev, temperatures can soar to 122 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer. Some areas get less than an inch of rain per year. For perspective, parts of the Sahara get more rainfall. So why did Israel bet its future on a desert? Because they had no choice. With limited land and a growing population, ignoring half the country just wasn't an option. In the early years, most of the population lived near the Mediterranean coast. But as urban centers grew overcrowded, it became clear that expansion had to push southward. This wasn't a preference. It was survival planning. Either they figured out how to make the desert livable, or they risked strangling their future growth. Water was the first hurdle. Israel doesn't have many natural lakes or rivers, and the ones it does have, like the Sea of Galilee, are shrinking. So in 1964, Israel launched the National Water Carrier, an ambitious project that pumped water from the Galilee in the north to the Negev in the south. This bold move worked for a time, but then the Galilee started drying up. So Israel pivoted again. This time, they turned to the sea. Desalination plants like Sorek now convert seawater into drinkable, usable water, millions of gallons every day. This water flows straight into Israel's national water grid, reaching cities, farms, and yes, the Negev. It was not just a technical upgrade, it was a mindset shift. Instead of relying on unpredictable rainfall or dwindling rivers, Israel chose to create an endless water supply from the sea itself. And here's where it gets wild. Israel now recycles 87% of its wastewater, the highest rate in the world. In the US, that number hovers around 8 to 10%. This recycled water irrigates crops, nourishes forests, and supports fish farming. Nothing is wasted. The technology behind this recycling isn't just mechanical filtration. It combines biological treatment, chemical purification, and even natural reed bed filtration in some areas, which helps maintain environmental balance while producing usable water. Only about 3% of Israel's water is lost in transit. Compare that to 20% in the UK or up to 70% in other countries. That tight control didn't happen overnight. It took decades of trial, error, and innovation. Water sensors, smart irrigation systems, leak detection technology. These are not luxuries in Israel. They are necessities. Every drop counts. So yes, they solved the water issue. But what about turning brown, barren earth green? That's when they planted a forest. At the edge of the Negev, Israel created the Yatir forest. It's now the largest man-made forest in the country, covering over 11 square miles. And this isn't a vanity project. The trees trap carbon, slow desert winds, reduce erosion, and help retain soil moisture. Creating a forest in such a hostile environment wasn't simple. Species had to be carefully selected. Most trees planted were hardy varieties like Aleppo pine and acacia that could withstand extreme drought and rocky soils. Even then, survival rates were low initially, forcing researchers to tweak planting methods, soil enrichment techniques, and irrigation strategies. NASA even includes this forest in its global climate research network. Why? Because this isn't just environmental restoration. It's a live experiment in reversing desertification. Lessons from Yatir have influenced desert rehabilitation projects as far away as China's Gobi Desert and parts of sub-Saharan Africa. Now with water and greenery in place, Israel asked a simple but audacious question. Can we farm the desert? Their answer was absolutely. Today, the Negev grows wheat, chickpeas, almonds, sunflowers, pomegranates, and even cotton, which is notoriously water-intensive. How? With one of Israel's most influential agricultural innovations, drip irrigation. Drip systems deliver water directly to plant roots, one drop at a time. That means less waste, fewer weeds, and healthier soil. It's not cheap, but in the desert, efficiency is everything, and the results speak for themselves. Tomato yields in the Negev are 6 times higher than the global average. Citrus production outpaces North America and Europe. Even in rough seasons, Negev farmers produce several tons of wheat and cotton per acre. It's not just about quantity either. Quality is exceptional. Israeli produce often wins awards for taste and size because the plants, stressed just the right way by desert conditions, produce fruits and vegetables with intensified flavors. Farmers here aren't just fighting the desert, they're collaborating with it, understanding its rhythms, learning how to make its harshness an advantage instead of a curse. That's not survival, that's prosperity. But here's where things get surreal. Israel is farming fish in the desert. Decades ago, scientists discovered ancient aquifers beneath the Negev. These underground reserves contain warm, low-salinity water, perfect for fish like tilapia, catfish, and barramundi. And they didn't stop at farming fish. They built an ecosystem around them. These fish live in closed-loop systems. Their waste enriches the water with nutrients, which is then used to irrigate crops. As plants absorb those nutrients, the water is naturally filtered and reused. Nothing wasted, everything reused. It's nature, engineering, and sustainability all rolled into one. Some farms even integrate algae production into these systems. Algae grow on the nutrients released by the fish and can be harvested as animal feed or even biofuel. Every part of the system feeds another, like a symphony where every instrument plays its part perfectly. And once food and water were secured, Israel turned to power. The Ashalim power station in the Negev uses 3 solar technologies: photovoltaic panels, parabolic troughs, and a solar tower surrounded by 50,000 heliostats, mirrors that track the sun and concentrate its light on a single point. This one facility powers 120,000 homes. Let that sink in. A solar plant in the middle of a former wasteland is lighting up cities. And that's just the beginning. The Negev's open land and constant sunlight make it ideal for large-scale solar development. More farms are coming, more homes will be powered. Beyond Ashalim, startups and researchers are exploring advanced battery storage, solar desalination hybrids, and even vertical solar farms that can produce more energy in less space, all based in the Negev. There are even discussions of exporting clean energy solutions to neighboring regions, turning what was once a barren zone into a powerhouse of innovation and cooperation. Back in the 1950s, David Ben-Gurion, Israel's first prime minister, called the Negev the true test of the nation. Most people thought he was dreaming, but he wasn't. He was predicting the future. Today, that future is real. The desert grows food, recycles water, nurtures forests, farms fish, and generates power. It's not just an Israeli success story, it's a template the world needs. Because the challenges Israel tackled, drought, food insecurity, energy demand, aren't unique to the Middle East. They're global, and they're accelerating. Countries across Africa, Asia, and even parts of the US face similar pressures: shrinking water sources, rising temperatures, unpredictable rainfall, and degraded land. What Israel has shown is that scarcity doesn't have to mean paralysis. With the right mix of urgency, innovation, and political will, the most hostile environments can be turned into productive, even thriving ecosystems. So if you think this story is just about the Negev, think again. It's about what we do when there seems to be nothing left. It's about creativity under pressure, innovation under constraint, and hope where others saw only limits. It's proof that transformation is possible if we choose to build instead of retreat. It's a reminder that limits are not where progress stops. They are often where it begins. Real breakthroughs don't usually come from comfort. They come from necessity, from being pushed into a corner with nothing but resourcefulness to rely on. The Negev's transformation didn't happen because conditions were ideal. It happened because they weren't. And that's exactly why it matters. What was once considered uninhabitable is now a hub of sustainable innovation. That shift in mindset from obstacle to opportunity is something every nation under pressure can learn from. If this kind of transformation sparks your curiosity, hit subscribe. Because this is just one story, and there are more like it coming. Stories that might just change the way you see the world. Stories where the impossible isn't just imagined, it's built.